You're locked in to the hottest station on the planet.
Resistance is futile. The revolution has begun.
You're listening to Rebelpreneur Radio, helping you break the rules and build the business you need for the life you want. And now, broadcasting his pirate signal
from somewhere beyond the status quo,
here's your host, best-selling author, marketing and media strategist, Ralph Brogden.
Hello and welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio, the show that helps you build the business you need so you can live the life you want. I'm Ralph Brogden. You know, a lot of the clients that I work with, their problem is not the business, it's the tech end of the business. And I'll make recommendations to them that they should do something differently to their website or change something in their copy. And it takes forever for them to make those changes because they just don't have the tech savvy that they need, or they are overwhelmed by tech. It's even got a name, tech overwhelm. And this is a really serious problem with business owners who are trying to make progress in their business, but they're just not cut out for the tech stuff. Today's guest is an expert in this, and she is going to help us wrap our brains around tech overwhelm in a way that is going to liberate us instead of overwhelm us. I'm speaking with Adrienne DeVita. She is the CEO of Digital Media Cube, and she has helped clients build their brand online while increasing conversions in all types of industries. She's worked with dentists, orthodontists, fishing, real estate, insurance, e-commerce, and many, many others. She uses white hat techniques and strategies that Google loves, so you don't have to worry about getting hit by a Google algorithm update, and I'll leave it to her to explain exactly what all of that means. Adrienne, welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on, and I'm excited for our call and giving as much information as I can to help your listeners build their business online, as you mentioned, the white hat way, legitimately, so their site never gets hit by Google.
Right. So I think a lot of that SEO stuff and trying to, I mean, we've all gotten the calls, right? Oh, I can get you on the first page of Google.
Yeah.
What is that all about? Is that even legit?
I've never reached out to one client in 14 years. I actually don't spam anybody. Most of my business comes through referrals. But I've never told anybody, I can get you on page one of Google and blah, blah, blah. If they hire me, after I do my competitive research, I let them know how long something will take for specific types of keywords. But I've been doing online marketing for businesses for 14 years now. I can look at any website and reverse engineer exactly how to beat competitors. As long as a client has a good budget and they understand it takes time to build up traffic organically, unless they want to go the paid method where we could do Google ads or we could do Facebook ads. Mm-hmm. I help and local brick and mortar businesses by getting them more sales, patients, clients, or leads online and build their brand at the same time. I also turn around certain types of e-commerce stores online where the client has a storefront, a brick and mortar storefront, but they want to start selling their inventory online. We actually specialize in WordPress sites with excellent SEO, content marketing, link building, social media, as well as Google and Facebook ads and retargeting.
Wow. So you are really on the cutting edge of everything, and you've got so many different services that you offer. Really, it's a one-stop shop. I mean, if I'm
Correct.
Overwhelmed by tech, I'm just going to bring you in and just give you the keys and say, here, just run it.
Correct. It is difficult. You made a great point. A lot of people are like, well, I have to go to this company for this service and this company for this service. We do offer everything. After 14 years, I have an amazing team of people. I'm very detail oriented. I'm a total geek, and I hire the best people. The best people are very loyal to me, and I love to keep really good, high-quality people in the United States that know what they're doing and get a great result along with my skills for my clients.
Now, how did you get started doing this? How did you get into the industry, and just tell us a little bit about your humble beginnings?
Sure. I mean, I started working at 14 years old as a bus girl, but I'm originally from New Jersey. I wound up leaving home. I joined the military. I was an interior communications electrician on board a ship in the military. When I got out, I found that the tech in the military had me on a path I was not anticipating on being, but I really enjoyed it. So I wound up getting my college degree. I got a Bachelor of Science in Information Technology, Network and Telecommunications. That afforded me a great job working for a telecommunications company, monitoring the servers, the software, the hardware, and the network. But they were outsourcing our jobs to India. So I quit my job. I took a leap of faith, and I started learning internet marketing. I spent $300,000 over the last 14 years on my own internet marketing education. I used to go to seminars. I networked with some amazing people, had some good mentors, but I spent a fortune. I mortgaged my own house off just for my knowledge today. I don't recommend people do that. There's a lot on credit cards that I paid off now, but if I could go back, I'd say specialize in one thing and get yourself started there if you're interested in doing it for a living. But to date, I've helped make my clients over $70 million in all different types of industries. For example, I took market share back from Geico, Progressive, Allstate, and State Farm. Those are the big guys, and helped train a brand new team. And that site is now worth millions in organic traffic each month. The insurance industry was losing $1 billion a year in revenue from those big insurance players, the independent insurance industry agencies, that's what I should say. Mm-hmm. And the site I did from scratch helped keep over 24,000 independent insurance agencies in business across the USA and feeds their families and employees. That was probably one of the most exciting gigs I've had, and that was 3 years to turn that whole market around and make sure that we keep those local independent insurance agents in business, because they can go to anybody. They can go to Geico, they can go to State Farm and give you rates and compare, but if you just go to Geico, they only work with their brokers and so forth. So it was exciting to make a site that's worth millions of dollars a month. And they paid me well, of course, but I love a challenge. So it was very challenging. So going from being a bus girl at 14 years old to, now making seven figures with my business, it's pretty exciting.
That is pretty exciting. And those are some extraordinary results, especially when you think about people who promise the world and they don't even deliver on the basic things that you would hire somebody to do, and you can't get them to fulfill their promises. But you have cracked the code. And I wanted to mention too, we were speaking off air about the fact that you're not working with small startup companies, but you're working with large companies who have money and budget to spend, and they want to get results from that budget, and that's what you deliver.
I would say I'm working with small to medium and large businesses. When I say a small business, I mean an already established business like a dental practice, an orthodontist, a plastic surgeon, an attic company that does attic insulation. Any type of company who makes a revenue of at least $1 million or more a year usually has the budget for me to help take their business to the next level. For example, I have an amazing dental client. They are fantastic. They've been my client for 6 years, and I've made them over that period of time an extra $2+ million in revenue. And when I first started with them, they didn't have any online presence, even though they had previously hired 3 other, quote, SEO companies, and they got a new website that didn't bring them in any traffic. So I really enjoy working with clients who appreciate what I do, and they're loyal to me, and I'm very loyal to them. I have a great team, and I pick and choose who's going to be loyal to me and put their faith and trust in me and my experience and my team as well. Long-term clients are my goal for my business, because if they're happy, I'm happy, and vice versa.
Very good. Well, it sounds like a plan that's definitely working. You've been involved in so many different industries. You've had a chance to sample different businesses and different types of business plans and marketing plans, or the lack thereof. What would you say is the most common problem that you see over and over again with the companies and the businesses that you're helping?
They don't have a plan. They just think we're going to go in business. We're going to open a shoe store, a clothing store, a mattress store, and we're just going to go on like Wix and get a really cheap website for $10 a month because we don't know anything about optimization. We don't know how to get reviews. We don't know anything about video marketing. We don't know anything about Facebook ads. They have no plan. If you're going to have a blueprint and you have to go to a bank to get a loan, you need the same blueprint for your marketing. You need to hire somebody who's going to do a reverse competitive analysis and say, look, here's your competition. Here's how many they have. Here's their domain authority. Here's their page authority. Here's their trust flow, their citation flow. Here's how many backlinks they have. Here's how much content they have. Here's what their search engine optimization looks like. Here's what their YouTube channel looks like. Here's what their Facebook and their Google ads and their retargeting that they're doing look like. You have to hire somebody who knows what they're doing, and I understand that's far and few between. There are some good people out there, but they are difficult to find, unfortunately, in the industry. And you've got to get a blueprint mapped out, and you've got to have a budget for that. Otherwise, you're going to build a store, and they're not going to come. And you're going to have this cheap website. Nobody's going to know how to find it because nothing's been done correctly, and it's ongoing. So have a budget, get a blueprint, and hire an expert who knows what they're doing in the online industry. Otherwise, your chances are, 80 to 90% of all businesses fail in the first 1 to 3 years. And the chances that's what's going to happen to you.
Well, and if you don't plan to succeed, then you're planning to fail.
Correct.
There's no, and you don't know what you don't know. So you can sit there and say, well, I need a marketing plan, but I mean, you just rattled off like a dozen things that they need to be looking at. And most people don't even have a clue what they should be measuring, much less know how to go out and actually measure it and interpret that. That's what they need
Correct.
you for.
And I like it. The one thing I do that I find that, and I've never heard in 14 years any other company that's done this, any potential client or client that has hired me, they've all said the same thing to me. No one explained this to me like you did. No one would answer any of my questions. Why are you telling me all this? Why are you sharing all this with me when nobody else would tell me? They were like, it was a secret, their secret sauce. They wouldn't tell me anything. I said, because if you're going to hire me, I want you to know what you're paying me for. I want you to know my value, and I want you to know that I know what I'm doing and that I can help you. How would you know that if you can't ask me any questions and I don't show you? I usually do a screen share of all my research before our call to show you physically, visually what I'm talking about. Otherwise, you're blindly paying me money and you're hiring me and you don't know what I'm going to do for you. And I know I would never hire somebody like that. Yeah. I wouldn't. I'm a very inquisitive person. Any question is not stupid. Ask me as much as you want. I want you to feel comfortable with who you hired. I want you to know that I can help your business. Otherwise, don't hire me or don't hire somebody else that is going to make it like it's a secret and they're not going to share anything with you. I think that's very wrong.
Yeah. Well, I got to respect your honesty, and I guess when you know what you're doing, you can afford to share the secret and show them, because even if they see you do it, I think just listening to you talk, I would be more inclined just to let you run with it and not even try to understand it, because it sounds like you're such an expert in this area. So people are hearing this and they're thinking, wow, I really need to get a handle on my online marketing, but I don't know where to begin. What would you suggest they do, or what could they do to begin to see some improvement? Maybe not solve all of their problems, but at least get them moving in the right direction.
That's a great question. If somebody really doesn't have the budget, but they do have the time and they want to learn, I would highly recommend they do not use a site like web.com or wix.com. Buy your own domain name, own your domain name, be the registrar so nobody can take that brand from you later on. Get a good brand name. Don't focus on keywords so much. Get a brand that somebody's going to recommend, going to remember and recommend when they refer, and get a great logo. Your logo is very important and memorable. Then use WordPress. Buy a responsive WordPress theme that's going to render on all mobile. Make sure you're buying something that's new, has the latest and greatest code, because there's a lot of outdated WordPress themes out there now that are basically, they're just so outdated that they won't render correctly, and then you're going to have to hire someone to pay thousands of dollars to fix it. But the internet has Google loves WordPress sites. So we use WordPress. I rank WordPress sites very easily if you need a website. So that's the first thing if you don't have a website. If you do have a website, let's say you're a pest control company. The first thing you have to do is you have to set up it's a Google local business listing, and you have to set up an optimized Yelp page for your business, and you must have a Facebook page. Those are your three must-haves if you already have a website. You don't even need a website, really. If you can't afford a website at all, set up your Google local business listing, your Yelp listing, and your Facebook page. You don't even have to have a website today to do that. You can just not list one and maybe get one later on. Make sure you have a phone number that you can track with those. Make sure you build up an audience and ask your customers for reviews. Send out an email. Email marketing and building a list with email. After you leave their house, make sure you have their email address and their first name, and use an autoresponder like aweber.com, AWEBER, or MailChimp. MailChimp.com, I think the first 2,000 leads on your list are free. Email them with an anchor text link that says, pest control company, Yelp reviews, and put a link, something nice in there that they can just click on and go to your Yelp page and easily leave you a review. But keep in mind, don't ask for Yelp reviews unless they're an active Yelper. So you say if you're an active Yelper, Yelp will filter your reviews if you're not an active Yelper. So there's no point in asking if someone is not an active Yelper. It'll just get filtered. Nobody will see it. Or you have a Gmail address. That's all the requirement is to leave you a Google review. If you have a Gmail address, please leave us a review here. The way you get the Google local business listing review to put in that email is by going to maps.google.com, copying that URL after you search your business name, and put that in the email. And also ask them to like and leave a review on your Facebook page. Those are the three things they can literally do for free and email their customers after they leave 24 hours later, asking them to leave a review. And also, if they have a family, put a picture in that autoresponder of their family. That will help get you more reviews, and let them know it helps build your family-owned business if it is, in fact, a family-owned business. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time, but those are three things they could do right now that's free that will absolutely help their business grow.
Wow, that sounds so powerful. And what you said is very important, and it's something that I teach my clients as well. And I learned it from Jay Abraham, that people aren't just going to, if you've got a nice product, you got a nice service, you got a nice business, that they're just going to automatically write testimonials and reviews. Most people respond to a negative situation without being prompted to do so. So if they have something negative to say, they'll go and leave a testimonial. But if they have something positive to say, usually it's not top of mind for them. And that's why you have to do the things that you're suggesting and make it easy for them to leave a review, but you have to ask. You can't assume. Yes. If you ask, correct, you will receive. If you don't ask, you're not going to get anything but the negatives. If there are negatives, you don't have to ask for those. They come automatically. But if you want those positive testimonials and reviews, you got to ask for them.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, as soon as you start getting reviews, ask everyone to click useful on Yelp to the 5-star reviews. That helps your rankings, and it helps you become more related in Yelp's algorithm, or your search results will come to the top. Now, there are paid Yelp impressions and paid Yelp cost per click. The impressions are worth a lot more. You have to ask for the impression-based ads if you want them. But keep in mind, when you set up your Google local business listing and Yelp listing, they have to be keyword intensive. They have to, if you want somebody to find you for certain keywords, you have to add those into your business information very carefully without being spammed.
Wow, that's really good information to know. I think it's really good. And then also, I think anytime people listen to something like this and they think, oh, wow, this sounds great, and they go out and try to do it, and even in the attempt to do it, they get overwhelmed, or as we said, they don't know what they don't know. So how would working with you, if they've got the budget more so than having the time, how would working with someone like you really improve their chances for success, as opposed to the typical business owner who's just going to go in there and try to figure it out on his own?
Working with my company and the team I have compiled over the last decade plus would greatly and significantly increase their chances of success for their local brick and mortar store or something they have online. For example, if I go back to the dental client, initially he hired several people, didn't get any results, and he said this whole online thing doesn't work. I don't think it can work, but I looked you up on the internet. You have great reviews. I'm going to hire you. He gave me a chance. And now, years later, and it took about 1 year to really see a great increase in the monthly new patients. 50% of all his business comes from the internet, from all the platforms we set up and all the ongoing search engine optimization and paid ads we do for him. Previously, it was 0% came from the internet. He didn't think his website was going to be of value to him, because I said, well, if you do sell your business later on, you need to factor in the value that your website brings to you. So he talked to his accountant, and his accountant laughed and said, there's no value to a website. He doesn't feel that way anymore. So,
well, that's such a neat story. And I have been to your website and I've read your testimonials, and they're one right after the other, and they're all very, very positive. So, that's really awesome. Are you working on anything right now that's got you really excited that you'd like to share with our listeners?
I'm doing something different that I haven't done to this degree before in the fishing industry, which is pretty cool. And we're getting amazing results. And I love that client. He's an amazing client. One of the nicest clients I've had in a very, very long time. We're doing something unique, and it's just taking off. It's taking off very quickly. It's doing really well. So I'm excited to make this into a huge behemoth online for him and take over from the big guys. And I've just acquired took on an orthodontist practice that actually has a new orthodontist that's been there for a couple of years, but all of their business, just like the dental client, is referral based only from other doctors. So we are going to launch their new website soon. We're doing all the content now. I have a great team of content writers. They're approving everything. They're getting their videos and pictures. And that brand of that second orthodontist, he's not very well known online at all. The other orthodontist who's going to be leaving the practice, not right now, but down the road, the other orthodontist, nobody knows about him. So I'm building the brand of a new doctor at a practice that has been more stagnant for 2 years, and nothing's been done online at all. They are very antiquated online from the last 20 years, and they haven't focused really anything online whatsoever. So I'm building it basically a 20-plus-year-old orthodontia practice, building it from scratch. Even though they've been in business so long, they just didn't focus online because they did very well through other doctors, and they didn't think that, just like the dental client, that online really had anything to offer them.
Very good. So you're changing the way people approach even their offline business. And I guess people don't typically associate dentists and orthodontists with online, but what you're doing is demonstrating that not only is it possible, but it's absolutely critical to your survival that you get online.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's part of your business plan has to include digital.
And they're in a very, very competitive area of Southern California. So yeah, you've got to. I love taking market share back from the competition. I don't like decimating them, but I like taking a large market share back from all the competitors. So my clients aren't starving and they can pay their bills. Not that they're starving, but I want that business, just like the insurance industry. I wanted that $1 billion back a year, and I got that $1 billion back a year. I like a challenge, so I get bored easily. So the bigger the challenge, bring it on. I love it.
Well, this has been really eye-opening and encouraging, and I appreciate you giving us what I feel like is kind of a mini education in this whole world that a lot of people are kind of intimidated by, but you make it sound fascinating. Any final thoughts or words of wisdom you'd like to share with our listeners as we close out?
Sure. I would just say have a great marketing plan and a good budget. Be realistic about your budget. If you think of how much companies used to spend on the yellow pages and direct mail and coupons and Valpak that they don't spend anymore because it doesn't work like it used to for the majority of types of businesses, they aren't doing those things anymore because they think they don't work, but they won't put the same exact budget into online marketing when 80 to 90% of businesses fail in the first 1 to 3 years. If you hire us, you won't have to be part of that horrible statistic and fail. So realize that the offline budget, and it works for some types of businesses now, but the majority of them it doesn't really work well for, that budget needs to come online. We took an offline and went to online, and you can't ignore that, or otherwise you're missing out on at least 50 to 75% of your revenue, and you won't be able to stay afloat without that.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Well, this has been great. I've been speaking with Adrienne DeVita. She is the CEO of Digital Marketing Cube, and you can find out more on their website at digital. I messed up the URL, so we'll make a note to fix that. So I've been speaking with Adrienne DeVita. She is the CEO of Digital Media Cube, and they only use white hat techniques and strategies. But they can help you with SEO, Google, Facebook ads, social media, content marketing, retargeting, even fixing up or installing a new WordPress website. So anything along those lines, check them out at digitalmediacube.com. Adrienne, it's been a real pleasure to speak with you today. Thank you so much for being on Rebelpreneur Radio.
Thank you so much for having me. You have a great day. Appreciate it.
You've been listening to Rebelpreneur Radio with Ralph Brogden. Download the show notes and much more at rebelpreneur.com.